The season kicked off in dominant fashion in Homestead, where Will Roberts was untouchable, leading 45 of 50 laps on his way to victory. But behind him, strategy stole the spotlight. Victor Vallee snookered his way onto the podium with a brilliant pit entry maneuver, channeling shades of Sebastian Vettel's crafty tactics from 2016 at the Chinese Grand Prix. Now the series shifts gears to its first road course of the season. With tight corners, heavy braking zones, and little room for error, will precision take the win, or will chaos reign supreme? The battle continues, and the action starts now in Laguna Seca, live next on ASN. Our venue for this evening is the virtual Laguna Seca. Built in 1957 and located in Moreau, California, this 2.24-mile circuit is famous for its elevation changes and challenging corners. The most iconic section is the corkscrew, a dramatic downhill chicane with a blind entry that drops nearly 6 stories in just a few corners. Laguna Seca has hosted legendary events in IndyCar, IMSA, and MotoGP, with thrilling battles and daring overtakes defining its history. Its technical layout and breathtaking scenery make it one of North America's most beloved road courses. The format for the TORQ IndyCar series is as follows. We have just finished open practice. We're going to lead into a 3-lap solo qualifying session to determine the grid for our 30-lap race this evening. And the second season of the TORQ IndyCar series continues tonight live on the Automotive Sports Network with Stephan Moreau in the production truck, and also next to me in the commentary box. My name is Josh Mertz as we welcome you to Monterey, California. Cameras all season on ASN, brought to you by Whiplash SimCams. Be sure to check them out at facebook.com/WSimCams. And thank you, Andrew Cardinale IV, for your camera support. And Mr. Stephan Moreau, we saw some strategy moves of the ages with Victor Vallee sneaking through the pit lane. And we have the first road course of the evening. Will Roberts leads the points over Victor after that domination last week. How are you, and what are your thoughts?
I'm doing good, and that we got to see some electric battling yesterday or last week, and I'm excited to see some electric battling on the on this week. That corkscrew over the hill is what's going to be really exciting for me, and I'm really excited to see what drivers are going to do when they are challenged with the diversity of not being able to see where they're going to be going on the exit. So
let's grab really quick Zach Trevino, car number 15, as he is beginning his qualifying run. First car on track, and we'll also take a look at some programming notes as we get rolling here in Laguna Seca. We have the cast tonight here in California for the TORQ IndyCar Series, but our next round for the TORQ Sports Car Series, that's Thursday at Fuji. That is 8:45 p.m. Eastern Time. Myself and Brian Sawyer for that one. And round one of the TORQ Endurance Series at the Daytona International Speedway. That is Saturday the 15th at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You'll have myself and Brian Sawyer for that one. 3 hours. It's going to be a good podcast style. And then remember, NASA Rallycross with the Lights World Championship, the Supercars World Championship, and Futures and Contenders at the end of February. Coming back for those seasons. Let's pick up some qualifying now. Zach Trevino, 1 minute 8.436. Matthias Ezekiel Macromini, 1 minute 9.1 in the 07. Took a look through the practice session. Trevino was on top. Then it was Macromini, Will Roberts, Josh Stoltz, Victor Vallee, P5. Looks like we have, I think, 11 cars entered here this evening, but my count could be wrong on that as we look at Zach Trevino. In car number 15, Matthias Ezekiel Macromini is going to be the first car to end his second lap. So if we can pick him up in the 07 through the corkscrew, rounding turn 9, turn 10, turn 11. Easy to get these corners wrong. You hit the red curbs, and it'll pitch your car. It is not a fun time. We saw a friend of ASN, Philip Kraus. Love you, buddy. But he had an incident in the World Championship in these corners, took him out of contention for the World Championship a couple of weeks ago. And Matthias Ezekiel Macromini goes to P3 at a 1 minute 8.689. Josh Stoltz, 1 minute 8.676. Zach Trevino has improved. He ran a 1 minute 8.0. He's got one lap left, Stephen.
Got a little blinking there. Be all good.
As Trevino up the hill to turn number 5, exiting 5, up the straight to 6. Easy to get this corner wrong on turn in, early, late, curb, not a fun time. Up the Rahal straight to the corkscrew. One of the best overtaking opportunities here in Laguna Seca. So many lines, easy to get wrong, like we said in the opener, and Trevino down the hill. As I'm going to see if we can pick up, where is Mr. Victor Vallee in the 83? He is not on track yet in the 83. As Trevino will round the final corner to end his qualifying run. Let's see what he will do in the 15. As Matthias Macromini improves to second. Trevino, 1 minute 7.9. He improves again. Will Roberts, 1 minute 8.1 in car number 2. And Victor Vallee on track in the 83, Stephen. Second place man in points after that interesting move last week. What can he do in the 83?
It says he's on track, but I'm not getting anything through iRacing.
I have him on my end, so maybe it defaulted the cameras. We'll figure it out, of course. And there he is.
There he is.
So let's see.
Was indeed
We
the
have
case.
Will Roberts on his third and final lap. See if we can pick up Roberts rounding the final couple of corners. DJ Weeks crosses the line. His lap didn't count. Zach Goddard, 1 minute 8.7. And Roberts through 10, down to 11. Apex at 52 miles an hour. Looks like he clipped the curb just a pinch. Now up through the gears. Car number 2, position number 2. Will he improve across the line? 1 minute 8.4. He does not. And now we pick up Vallee in car number 83. Through 10, through 11 on the warm-up lap. The man from Indianapolis will begin his first lap for JC Simsport in the 83. Because we're going to ride on board this car and enjoy the lap here in Laguna Seca. Down to 11. Let's see, misses the apex by about half a car width. Off the final corner, across the line. What will Vallee do? Ending his first lap, 1 minute 9.9. He is P9 out of 10 that have ran a lap. We got a couple cars that have not set a lap time that have disconnected. Jacob Quill, Bobby Helms, and Victor loses it in turn 2. Tricky to get the Andretti hairpin right. And he is overcooking these tires in turn 3. Car that has not set a lap that is left in the session. Helms and Quill not in the session, so we should have 11 cars in this race this evening. In turn 2, tricky, Stephen. You can do one wide hairpin, or you can do a double apex, and I think Vallee, not really sure what's going on there.
I think he might have got a bad exit.
Corkscrew down the hill, through 10, through 11. 10, about half a car width off the apex. At least get a banker lap in 2 seconds off the pole sitting pace is Vallee. He's going to have one lap left. He's the only car left to complete his qualifying run. His lap this time, 1 minute 9.7 for the second place man in points. Down to turn number 2, the Andretti hairpin. First apex locked up the left front, pushed wide, tried to claw it back. Harwith off the apex for the 83. Hooking the red sidewall Firestones through turn 3, down to 4, flat corner. You think you could take it faster than you can. No banking, no camber to help you. And now to turn number 5. 1.8 seconds off the pace, hits the apex through turn 5, up the hill to 6. Like I said earlier, easy to get wrong. You cannot spot the apex, turn in, don't hit the curb, perfect. Through the corner, up the hill. The Rahal straightaway to the corkscrew through 7, through 8. I still, to this day, personally cannot get the corkscrew right because you think the corner is where it isn't. Almost thought he was going to clip the curb in turn 9 into 10. Little scrappy on the apex and now down to 11. What can the second place in points do? Words are hard already. Off the final corner, across the line for Vallee. Roberts is second. Vallee across the line. 1 minute 8.8. He improves to 6th. Still 4 positions, down on his championship rival. That's a surprise.
It is, actually. If we look at these times, to be fair, 6th place, to go from 9th to 6th up 3 positions is nothing to scoff at. These lap times are looking very fierce.
Vallee, interesting that he ran in 5th in practice, so about mid-pack, about equal on pace. Impressive with Trevino. Only car in the 1 minute 7 bracket, because we have about 3.5 minutes left to go in qualifying. Nobody's on track. Nobody's got some laps done. So it's the Stephen and Josh podcast for a couple minutes here on the Automotive Sports Network. And just a reminder, you don't have to bring the graphic up, but we do have the TORQ shows. Obviously, Tuesday, Thursday, we're going to have the Saturday show coming up. We will have... graphic. You'll pull it up then. Thank you. Didn't have to. So, TORQ Sports Car on Thursday at Fuji. We've got TORQ Endurance on Saturday at Daytona. We're back for the TORQ IndyCar Series at Long Beach next Tuesday, the 18th. The iRacing Strength of Field races should be beginning not this, but next Saturday. Brian Sawyer is going to be handling that. And NASA Rallycross back in action. Second season for Futures. Wow, this is the 6th season for Lights already. That's crazy to think about. We've got NASA Rallycross Contenders and the Supercar World Championship for the 33rd season in the history of that championship. And it's going to be interesting there. Will Evan McFarland and Kieran Lifflander have a 3rd consecutive winner-take-all scenario in that final race? And if you'd like your content broadcasted by the Automotive Sports Network, asntvUSA.com for any and all information. And we got it on Twitch, YouTube, Blue Sky, TikTok, all the fun stuff. And asntvUSA.com, like I said, shout out Josh Darnell, still working on that site behind the scenes. The entire crew behind the scenes, pulling the strings, keeping everything going and ready. Super excited to watch this race. Zach Trevino asking if the compounds are supposed to be changed. And I don't think TORQ has a member of their admin team in this race tonight, which is interesting. But we wait for the time to tick down. And looking at the qualifying order, what are we thinking, Stephen? What are we thinking for Vallee, second in points?
Let's take a look. The graphic can tell us. Hey,
look at that. Zach Trevino, 2/10 up on Roberts. It's 4/10 back from Roberts to Macromini. That's impressive.
That's actually a sizable gap there, actually. And then everybody's only like 1,000th down or 100,000th down from there until you hit P7th, and then that's your next biggest gap there from 0.9 to a full 1.2 seconds of gap there. So I I would say I'm excited, but just judging by the graph here, uh, it's gonna be an intense upfront pack, but everyone might in the backpack might get to have some breathing room, which may or may not be a good thing. So, excited to
As
see how that
we
goes.
await for qualifying to end. And I just want to give, we don't have to pull the graphic back up. NASA Rallycross Futures, just a heads up, and we'll have a more concrete announcement for this, but there are not going to be live broadcasts for Futures. I think the current plan is myself and Brian Sawyer, we're going to do a little bit of a delayed old school style broadcast of the feature only. And it might be something we've got a membership going on for the ASN Live, ASN On Demand YouTube channel. So keep an eye on that, and we'll keep you posted on the ASN socials as we begin to grid in Laguna Seca, and we're going to have an entire pace lap to up the ante and the anticipation. As let's take a look at the grid for round 2 in Laguna Seca. On
Who
pole,
on the blimp cam? That should give
Zach
us the best.
Trevino, 2/10 up on Will Roberts. They share the front row of the grid. We've got Matthias Ezekiel Macromini and Josh Stoltz on row number 2. Zach Goddard and Victor Vallee, teammates for JC Simsport, hold row number 3. And then it's Alex Buffoli and Darius Timms on the 4th row of the grid. Row 5, Johnny Eckert and DJ Weeks, teammates on the back row. And Roman Roy, he did not set a lap time, but he's technically qualified, according to my timing, 13th. But then iRacing timing says 11th, so let's just call him in the 11th spot. Jacob Quill and Bobby Helms practiced, but they both will not take to the track this evening. As just a reminder, of course, if you like what you see tonight, be sure to like and subscribe to the Automotive Sports Network on Blue Sky, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, and YouTube, and ring the bell to be notified of our live streams weekly, along with our short form video content. So plenty of content coming out in 2025. It's going to be super fun to watch the growth of both TORQ, NASA, ASN, everything as a whole, and how sim racing has exploded in the last 5 years or so. Really 10 years, but the last 5 really have accelerated that. 30 laps in Laguna Seca, and we are going to roll for the formation lap. A lot of guys starting on the red sidewall tire, except for Darius Timms and Roman Roy. And just a reminder, on the road courses in the Dallara IR18, compulsory tire change according to the IndyCar regulations. The red sidewall, softer tire, grippier, but it won't last as long. A couple of the guys on the black the black primary tire. Harder tire, less grip. You have to run the compounds, both compounds, for at least one lap under green in the race. So expect the guys on the reds here fly away from the couple guys on the blacks. Get all the track position that they can. Wear out these tires, and then I'd say pit in the middle of the race for the black tires right about. It's confirmation, no Quill, no Helms on this grid. 11 cars will take the start here in Laguna Seca. As we thank everyone for joining us in California. Stephen Moreau, Josh Mertz, getting ready to roll for 30 laps. Chaotic start. What are you thinking? Clean start?
Well, it depends on where the pace car comes off. Because if it just comes off where it normally should, I think it'll be okay start. It's especially with that turn 1 there, drivers are normally cautious. Normally cautious there, but we'll see who really wants to grab up those positions really early. Some drivers do like to have that mentality where you're not first, you're last.
As the great, I believe it was the great Mario Andretti that said it. I could be wrong. Apologies if I am. But to finish first you must finish something that it took a while for me to learn. Instead of being fast on one lap, it's much more important to be consistent over the 30 that we will see. The safety car will head to pit lane. The field will be in the hands of Zach Trevino and points leader Will Roberts. 11 cars, 30 laps, getting ready to go green here at Laguna Seca.
Green flag, green flag.
We go green in California, off the line, clean for the first couple rows, up the hill, Roberts onto the dirt, saves it. Trevino, Roberts, Macramini, Stoltz on the outside, contact for the top two, off the road from the lead, goes Trevino, sent off the road by points leader Roberts in turn one. Now leading the race, Matthias, Ezekiel, Macramini, Josh Stoltz behind him, then it's Goddard, Vallee, Timms, Will Roberts saying sorry, he did not expect braking that early. So now no damage, it looks like, for those two, but off the road, way off the track goes Stoltz in the 99. Comes out, Goddard passes him, so does Vallee. Comes out in front of Darius Timms in the 31. Up the Rahal straight, Timms off the track, exiting turn 6. And now passed by Johnny Eckert. Eckert deep on the brakes. Very cautious on cold tires. Will Roberts in the back of the field. Matthias Marcomini into turn number 11. Started third. And Stephen, he leads this race after one lap.
He does. It was, I thought it was going to be a safe,
Getting his Trevino from, well, I would say was the race lead. And now I think the strategy here, sorry to cut you off there, but I think he's going to take to the black tires and try and ride this out. Continue, sorry.
I was just saying that you caught it right. I thought it was going to be safe, but somebody rode the edge of the tires a little too hard right off the rip, and somehow didn't expect a braking point when you should have expected a braking point. But hey, all things end well that end well. Right?
So Trevino now on the black, or sorry, he's on another set of reds. So I don't know what happened with Trevino. Maybe he used one of his faster pairs, but I would have taken that opportunity and jump on the blacks. Alex Buffoli in the 08 from the 7th position has looped it, exiting the corkscrew. And around he went from the 5th position. So now, Matthias Ezekiel Marcomini leads this race still. And DJ Weeks is letting Will Roberts through, it looks like. Zach Goddard sits in second. And Victor Vallee sits in third. Double podium after 2 1/4 laps for the JC Simsport crew. Zach Goddard feeling under the weather. Whole family has been under the weather the last couple weeks. So hopefully feeling better is the driver of technically the 65 in this series. Normally the 29.
I gotta say, this is pretty big news for Victor too, because he managed to get to 6th and picked up another 3 positions off of the first
on the
lap.
inside. Stoltz locks up the rears in front of the point. Sorry, second. And
oh my God!
No front wing for Victor Vallee in the 83. Just as you start talking, commentators curse for the 83, and Stoltz dove it in to try and make something happen. And Victor's going to have to pit. Stoltz will have to pit as well. So where is Will Roberts? Roberts is going to cycle through past Victor Vallee. You'll learn quick in this industry, my friend. Commentators' curses are very prevalent. Can we take a second look at that? Do we have that available? If not, we can figure it out. Might have to roll it back super professional to look and see what had happened. Let's take a look from the chopper cam, and then we can roll this and see. And it looks like Stoltz just tried, and it was never going to work. Yeah, it was never going to work. Going into the corkscrew there. There we go. Locked up the rears. Easy to do in this Dallara. I am nowhere close to the speed of some of these guys. Very, very slow. Very hard car to be quick in. But it's easy to lock up those rear brakes, and around Stoltz wins. So, let's head back to live pictures. and get an update on our running order after now going on 4 laps. Matthias, Ezekiel, Marco Mini still leads, now uncontested really, from Zach Goddard. Johnny Eckert started 9th, sitting in 3rd in the 90. Darius Timms and Will Roberts all over the rear wing. DJ Weeks, Buffoli, Roy, Vallee, and Trevino. As off the road goes Roy in front of Vallee and Trevino. And Vallee's on reds too. Trevino to the inside, battling for the 9th position. Sorry, 8th position. Vallee holds it. Trevino better run through 10 to the inside into 11. Vallee gives him room, pushes wide on exit. Still respectful. Car width given, more so as they battle up the hill, technically through turn 1, down to the Andretti hairpin turn 2. You can utilize all this concrete on the driver's right. Vallee hooks the inside, side by side through 2, checks him. This is not NASA Rallycross Victor Vallee, but he's driving like it is, and Trevino off the road.
And we just got to.
I can tell you, Zach Trevino, I can tell you, Mr. Trevino, there's one thing in this world that you do not want to do, and it is drive against an aggravated Victor Vallee. No disrespect, my friend, but take it from me. He will drive through you to get by you in the 83. It's happened once or twice to me.
Took the rubbing his racing a little too seriously in the Dollar 18.
So, I can tell you that there's no bumpers in the Dallara. Trevino trying to get by Stoltz, clips the curb, almost loses it in car number 15. So Vallee is 36 seconds behind the race leader, Marco Mini. Crucially, he's 25 seconds behind Will Roberts. And you're asking me, Josh, why are you talking about points round number 2 and there's a drop week? Ladies and gentlemen, I've seen over the last 12 years in NASA Rallycross, for example, every point matters. Every mistake could mean win or lose in a championship. It doesn't matter if it's round 2. It doesn't matter if it's round 12. You have to be on your game every lap, every moment you can be. And Will Roberts, after making the mistake in turn 1, back up to the 4th spot. And Victor Vallee involved in an incident not of his own doing. Ironically, from his kind of satellite teammate, Josh Stoltz. I say that because Josh Stoltz races on JC Simsport and NASA Rallycross, and they crashed in the corkscrew. And the guy who's going to have a painful conversation is me, and I really don't want to do that. Zach Trevino has spun in the corkscrew, trying to catch Stoltz, missed the first apex, throttled up when the car was light and off the ground, and around the pole sitter goes, and he is in the pit lane now in the 15.
Looks like our tightest battle right now is Will Roberts
and
Johnny
Eckert. So, tell a story about Johnny Eckert. Last week, I saw his name pop up at Homestead. I said, where the hell do I know that name from? And I thought it was from Sim Racing Design, from NASCAR Racing 2003. Hold with me. Thought it was from 15 years ago. It's pretty close. It's from 2013. Him and I raced. We raced in the Prototype and GT Challenge together, way back in 2013. So great to see Mr. Eckert back on iRacing. Maybe he has been on iRacing for the past X insert years, but I have not seen him since then. So good to see him back. And he's holding the 3rd spot. And when I mentioned about fast hot lap versus 30 laps consistently, and it is not a dig at Mr. Eckert, he lets Roberts by. He's running his own race, minding his own business. He might be a second off the pace, but he's in 4th and he hasn't crashed. Steady pair of hands for car number 90C.
It is very steady going along. He's managed to keep him off for a while, but Will just managed to get his way around there.
So we talk about points differences this early, right? So Roberts is back in 3rd. That is 60 points if it were to end right now. And Victor's down in 8th. That is a 10-point swing. So for Victor's sake, you hope that something happens to Will Roberts. But it is a long season. We got Long Beach, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Road America, Iowa, Mid-Ohio, Charlotte, Auto Club in Fontana. That's going to be an excellent race. Detroit, Pocono, Barber, all exclusively live on the Automotive Sports Network. And it's going to be a fun season here as we close out wintertime, head into the springtime. And like I say on the TORQ Sports Car shows, so much momentum being shown. IndyCar, a little bit different for these TORQ boys. They got the GT4 Challenge, they got the GT3 Sports Car Series, and the Endurance Series. Branching out, doing your own thing, always encouraged. So, Stephen, pick a car. Let's ride on board and enjoy a lap here in Laguna Seca.
Let's watch the leader. Why not? Yeah, consistent these laps are.
Lap of Laguna Seca. On board Matthias Micro Mini through turn 1, using all the concrete on driver's right, down to third gear, depending on setup. Like I said, you can use one apex, use two. He uses two first, up to second, third. Does not go into fourth gear. Interesting to carry second through there. Normally it's a third gear corner. Fourth gear through turn 4. Utilize all of the curb and then some of the dirt down to turn number 5, down a couple gears to fourth, down to third to get through. Now up the hill to turn number 6, fifth gear, fourth gear, spot the apex, turn in, it's blind. Car compresses right on apex. There's a little bit of a hump there. Now up the hill to the corkscrew, down to first gear, ever so cautious. First gear tricky in these Dolaras with the wheel spin, now rounding. Turn number 9, turn 10. These two corners, in my opinion, some of the most fun corners in this Delara. Car is very compliant on corner entry, through the corner as well. And now down to turn 11 is a race leader, Matthias Marco Mini. His last lap was 1 minute 9.9. He crosses the line now at a 1 minute 9.6. Last lap for Zach Goddard in the 65. He ran a 1 minute 10.2. Will Roberts will cross the line, and he will run a 1 minute 10.0. So lap times kind of falling into place here in Laguna Seca. And just an update on Victor Vallee. His last lap was 1 minute 9.7. He will cross the line here momentarily. Catching Alex Buffoli. He is 13 seconds off of Will Roberts, so I think he's losing some time to the points leader. 1 minute 9.5, so he was up by half a second on Roberts that last time around. We still ride on board Marco Mini into the corkscrew. Everything is settled down for the moment. It's a little bit early here in Laguna Seca, but before pit stops begin, I think we're going to take you ASN nonstop from Monterey.
Interesting.
I love your browser history.
I like that you're not hiding anything from me.
By the way, nice IP address. I like your neighborhood.
You are so special. This app is just for you. I learned so many things from you.
You are so generous with your personal data.
Switch on privacy. Switch off trackers and viruses. Go to NordVPN.com. NordVPN. Safely be you. Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Absolutely be doing what he has to do. He has to go for the championship. He has to recover the points that he lost. You know, down takes the lead in the 12. What a move. And he takes the lead and holds
By
it.
side between these two in the turn one, this is going to get spicy.
Exiting turn one, over the jump to begin the first lap clock at the inside line. McLaughlin contact between them. They are still side by side. This opens the door for Wetz. He can't make anything happen. From the 26, he has not won in quite some time. Dragster acing the entry to turn one, up heading to the inside of Magnus, gives him a nudge. The grip strip on the inside, Phil. Wetz had a little bit better run, but looks like Magnus will hold his well.
You're so interesting.
We welcome you back, and it's perfect timing. We can take a look real quick at Matthias Marco-Mini in the pit lane from the race lead. Zach Goddard there as well, as we welcome you to round 2 of season 2 of the TORQ IndyCar Series with Stephen Moreau in the production truck, and also next to me in the commentary box, my name is Josh Mertz, live on the Automotive Sports Network. As our race leader, Matthias Ezekiel Marco-Mini leaves the pit lane. Will Roberts pits as well. Johnny Eckert pits as well. We'll just have to keep an eye. Everybody's pitting on nearly the same lap. Here comes Victor Vallee, though, after his crash in in the corkscrew earlier on with Josh Stoltz. He's going to be battling Zach Goddard in the 65. Cameras, just a reminder that cameras all season on ASN, brought to you by Whiplash SimCams. And be sure to check them out at facebook.com/WSimCams. And thank you, Andrew Connelly IV, for all of your camera support. And also, if you like what you see tonight, be sure to like and subscribe to the Automotive Sports Network on Blue Sky, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, and YouTube. And ring the bell to be notified of our live streams weekly, along with our short-form video content. And if you'd like your content broadcast at ASN TV USA, one car off, it's Goddard in the 65 on cold tires in these Delaras. And he did what I mentioned earlier, Steven. You hit the apex wrong in turn 6, and it has gone from bad to worse for him, and around he goes. Can he save it? Comes out. No contact. But it's going to ruin a podium run for the 65. And the car's broken. He's just going to park it. So, this puts Vallee in second without any competition. He's 3 spots ahead of Will Roberts. Let's take a look at some programming notes while we have a minute. And then hopefully we can get a replay potentially of that incident with Goddard. Round 2 of the TORQ Sports Car Series from Fuji Speedway in Japan. That is Thursday the 13th, 8:40 p.m. Eastern Time. Brian Sawyer, myself, Josh Mertz for that. Round 1 of the TORQ Endurance Series. That's Saturday the 15th, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time at Daytona. And that's myself and Brian Sawyer for that one, for a 3-hour Josh and Brian podcast. That's going to be super fun. The return of the GTP cars, the prototypes, by the way. We haven't seen them in 3 seasons, I think. Our next round for the TORQ IndyCar Series next Tuesday at Long Beach. You'll have myself and Steven for that one. The iRacing Rallycross Strength of Field on Saturday nights, courtesy of Brian Sawyer. That starts next Saturday. According to that, it's 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That's a whole Brian thing. I wish I knew more details. I know that sounds professional, but that's a Brian thing. And NASA Rallycross returns at the end of February. NASA Rallycross Futures will have a tape-delayed feature race-only broadcast for ASN on-demand members. That'll be at some point through the week, I think. But the first live show looks like it'll be February 23rd at 8 p.m. Eastern. You'll have Ethan Halsey and Josh Darnell for that. And that's going to be at Charlotte, I think, for round one of all three NASA races. And then round one of contenders on the 24th. That's Monday. Justin Rover Show, Brian Sawyer. And the 33rd season of the NASA Rallycross Supercar World Championship will commence on March 1st. That'll be at 2 p.m. Eastern Time from Charlotte. Brian Sawyer, myself, Josh Mertz for that. So let's rewind, both figuratively and literally, right? And let's get a recap of what has happened. As I say that, Vallee nearly spun it in the corkscrew. Because I think you got a replay for me. There it is. And that's Zach Goddard going off the track, spinning around. Let's roll that back and ride on board the 65. Welcome to ASN again. Trying out a new system with Stephan here. It's a little bit different, so we're just a little bit professional at times. Roll it a little bit farther back and ride on board. Give me a roll bar camera. There we go. And go ahead and play it. Corner, third gear on turn in. It lowers down and comes back up. So it's a little bit of a roller coaster through turn 6. And if you're not settled, you're on cold tires like Zach was, lost the rear end around. He went, tried to get going with dust all over the rear tires, and into the wall he went. Victor pitting on lap 18, Stoltz pitting on lap 18. They are off strategy from the race leaders. This is going to put Vallee back to 5th behind Darius Timms. And now I'm going to be interested to see, Stephan, will he be able to utilize the fresh tires, a couple laps fresher than Will, to catch him down. He's got 12 seconds to catch car number 2. But Will Roberts is 28 seconds behind Matthias Marco-Mini, because I think Marco's only competition, no disrespect to the field, that's had issues tonight. Zach Goddard was the only car close. And now it's a 28.5-second gap from Matthias to Will.
A huge gap. Like, I don't know. Gonna have to pull out all the stops if he wants the podium, like first place podium. But
and Will Roberts last lap.
Second place. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, you're good. I mean, I'm kind of in the boat. If I was Will Roberts, of course, as a racing driver, you always want to win. But you might not be live, by the way. You might have to kick it forward a pinch. After the incident we saw in turn 1, if you're obviously just joining us, we had Will Roberts and Zach Trevino from the front row of the grid crash in turn 1. Will locked it up, smashed into Trevino. They both went off the road. Will was in last on the first lap. Now he's sitting in second. I would take that as a victory, really, because everybody else has had issues, and Matthias is the only one that hasn't.
I mean, for both drivers, no reason to push your luck, right?
There's Josh Stoltz and DJ Weeks. Looks like this is the closest battle for the 6th position. DJ not on the same race as Josh. We saw Josh lock up the rear brakes heading into the corkscrew, crash into Victor Vallee. Vallee sits in 5th. He is 13 seconds behind Will Roberts. Call it 14 seconds behind Will Roberts. Curious to see what the strategy move will be. Vallee's on blacks. Roberts is on blacks. So they're on the hardware compound. It'll last them longer. We got 10 laps left in Laguna Seca. Stoltz all over the rear wing of Weeks. Will Weeks let Stoltz by? And he will. Comes over the scanner and says, stay to the left, because I'm going to give you the spot. Into turn number 2. Position change. Put Stoltz back to the 6th spot. Another thing that was mentioned, was not mentioned on our cast, and I apologize for that. The series changed from fixed setups back to open setups. So these guys can run whatever car setup they like. Instead of being handicapped and shackled to the iRacing setups or whatever the TORQ leadership decides, We had a couple of vocal critics about the iRacing setups, that they were very, very hard to drive. And now we got the open setup so these guys can tweak these cars how they see fit. And everyone minding their own business, Stephen. As Matthias Ezekiel Macromini trying to utilize and get all the bonus points that he can. You do get 2 bonus points for leading the most laps. You get a bonus point for pole and leading a lap, but you can't get the bonus point for leading a lap if one guy has led all of them.
A little difficult.
As Darius Timms has passed Roman Roy. Roy off the lead lap. Vallee's last lap, 1 minute 10.1. Faster than Timms. And 5th is better than 8th. So, Matthias Ezekiel Marcomini, 1 minute 9.582. Will Roberts crosses the line, getting close. Well, let's roll it back. Words are hard, right? He's nowhere close to crossing the line yet. He's going to be crossing the line here in a couple moments. He is 30.3 seconds behind our race leader. And car number 2, points leader, will cross the line. Let's see what he does this last time around. 1 minute 10.0. So he's half a second down. Johnny Eckert in the 90 crosses the line. 1 minute 10.7. Darius Timms, 1 minute 10.0, matches Roberts. Vallee crosses the line. 1 minute 10.2. Stoltz, 1 minute 9.3. So he's up on Vallee. He's faster than the rest of the field. What could have been if he didn't lock up the rear into the corkscrew? Weeks, Buffoli, Roy, 9 cars left running here in Laguna Seca. Interesting that the concrete on driver's right is still allowed. It's been allowed in the sim for as long as I've been around. I've been driving on iRacing since 2011, and it was still allowed then. I say that because there's a couple bits of asphalt and sand and grass that were either allowed and then recently patched. Think of the sand in Druids, turn 3 at Brands Hatch for the Rallycross cars. There's a couple bits. Like turn 1 here at Laguna Seca, completely allowed. And it's interesting because obviously that's not the racing line. It's a completely different surface. But if the iRacing stewards don't call it an off track or a corner cut, and with no TORQ leader here, it's the Wild West in the Wild West for these guys in the TORQ IndyCar series. As Josh Stoltz, I think this battle between the satellite teammates, between Vallee and Stoltz, is going to heat up. The last time they got close, Stoltz crashed into Vallee in turn 8, the corkscrew. And this is crucial because Vallee already can't lose any positions. 5th place in points is 56. Robert sits in 2nd with 65. So it's still a 10-point swing. It's as bad of a swing as it was when Vallee was in 8th and Roberts was in 3rd. As remember, consistency rewarded. Stoltz clobbering the corner. If we can take a look at this battle, Stephen, between the 83 and the 99. This is our closest battle that we have right now. I say that as Johnny Eckert and Darius Timms getting close, but Stoltz goes off the track. Commentators curse, and the battle ends. Let's take a look at Timms versus Eckert in turn 2. The gap has increased to 33 seconds from Marcomini to Will Roberts. Half a lap is the distance as Eckert and Timms battling for the 3rd spot. This is the final spot on the podium between these two. And it is slow and steady wins the race for Johnny Eckert. And Darius Timms having some issues. They both go off the road. Shout out Eddie Boyles joining us in chat. Thanks for hanging out. And to the corkscrew goes Timms. Behind Eckert. Battle for 3rd. Battle for the podium. Eckert ran a little wide on corner entry. Timms is there. 0.3 of a second through turn number 9. A couple of grooves. that you can utilize. A couple lanes through 10 down to 11. I would say it's a little bit too soon to try and make a move, but Tim's thought otherwise. Locked up the left front, took the spot. That was messy. Onto the gravel. Both of them have gravel on the tires. Down the front straightaway. Better run for Eckert on the outside. Can he utilize back up the corner entry? Tim's comes across. They nearly touch. Defending the inside. Eckert over, under, car length between them. Tim's gets the run off the corner. That might be all she wrote for Tim's to be on the podium, but we still got a couple of laps left here in Laguna, and that was a dive bomb move, and Tim's locked up the left rear. He did not mean to dive bomb Eckert. Just came across the radio to tell him that. Like I said, it's easy to do in these Dolaras. You get real excited, real antsy to try and make a move. You put a pinch too much of brake pressure on, and around you can go easy. We saw there's some good car control by Darius Timms in the 31. We're coming to already on 4 laps to go for Matthias Macromini in the 07. It's been a quiet race for our field this evening. And next week in Long Beach, the wide open spaces here in Monterey. We head to Long Beach, right down the road. Nowhere to hide, no room for error for these Indy cars, for the TORQ's IndyCar series. Especially with all the bumps. Off the road went Roman Roy, staying out of the way of the podium contingent. 3rd and 4th, I should say. Josh Stoltz trying to catch Vallee again for the 5th spot. As we still look at Timms versus Eckert. I don't think this battle's over. I think Johnny Eckert, if I look at the lap times last time around, he was a second slower than Timms, but he looks like he is keeping pace. And Vallee might be able to sneak onto the podium. He's going to come to 3 to go. Does he have time? We'll take a look at lap times as they refresh. Matthias Marcomini heading into the corkscrew, coming to 2 to go. So he's got some time. Will Roberts is just into turn 2. I say keep an eye on this Timms Eckert Vallee. Vallee's a long shot for the podium, but it was 1.2 seconds, 1.3 call it, last time around from Timms to Vallee, lap time wise. So he was quicker. And it's about 2.5 seconds. So if Vallee can replicate that time difference, Stephen, we might see the 83 on the podium after a crazy race for him.
Yeah, it's been an arduous journey for the 83. It'd be incredible for him to get his oh my god, as we're speaking about it, he's closing that gap on Eckert. He was like
0.6 of a second. Here comes Josh Stoltz as well. I don't think this battle is over between Stoltz and Vallee, and they have these 2 guys in front of them. There's a 4-car battle for the podium. It might have been a slow burn early on with all the chaos, but we got something. And Will Roberts, what happened to Roberts? Or is Roberts, forgive me, have they caught Will Roberts? Oh, they're fuel saving. Promise we know what we're doing.
Oh,
Roberts is on blacks. Tim's on reds. The field is coming together for the 2nd spot. Just an update for Matthias Marcomini. He's going to take the white flag. He is so far ahead. It is 42 seconds. Vallee goes to 4th. Johnny Eckert, did he let them go? He did let them go. Marcomini takes the white flag. Battle's getting good with 2 laps to go. Just getting a report that Zach Goddard did not have a fun time. Equipment might be damaged for the 29 after the incident that he had in turn 6. We're going to come to the white flag, and it is a 4-horse race for the podium between Timms, Vallee, Stoltz, and Eckert. Vallee 0.8 off of Stoltz, or sorry, off of Timms. Stoltz a further 0.3 behind him. As our race leader, Matthias Marcomini, heading into the corkscrew. Timms has to pit. This gives Vallee and Stoltz a clear battle for third on the podium as they take the white flag. If we can find our race leader, Matthias Marcomini, I'll keep an eye on this battle. For now, the third spot. Matthias Marcomini through turn 11 while everybody faltered. He has taken the reins, and he will take the win by 40 seconds ahead of Will Roberts. Marcomini does it in Laguna Seca. We shift up front, or sorry, back to Vallee versus Stoltz. They came together in the corkscrew. They are on the ragged edge, black primary tires versus red alternates between Vallee and Stoltz, the satellite teammate, through turn 6, and Vallee slides it in the corner, saves it, but he gets past Stoltz. Vallee's gonna have one shot. Does he pay Stoltz back into the corkscrew? He does not. Through 8, through 9, Stoltz has gapped him. And I think Stoltz might have it. Final corner for our points leader, Will Roberts. After crashing into Zach Trevino in turn 1, Roberts will come home back in the second position. Great recovery drive for him. Stoltz makes the move on Vallee, comes home in third. The Indianapolis native, after getting crashed by Stoltz, comes home fourth. Fifth for Eckert. Sixth for DJ Weeks. Seventh, Timms. Eighth, Buffoli. And ninth, Roman Roy. Goddard and Trevino off the track in 10th and 11th. And Marcomini burning it down in the corkscrew. All right. What are we thinking, Stephen?
And that is everybody.
What a race.
That was incredible.
Interesting one, for sure.
Like, it was a slow burner, but we got there. And you know what? It was pretty good. Tell you what.
Especially that little battle at the end. Fuel conservation, tire conservation, especially the alternate strategy with Stoltz and Vallee. And what could have been? I mean, we say that every single show for any little incident that happened, but we had shenanigans on lap 1. Trevino was, I don't want to say class in the field, and that's not a dig to him saying he's not. But Trevino, fastest by, what was it, 3/10 in qualifying? Never had the opportunity to show what he could do. And Marcomini, the benefactor. If I'm looking at the qualifying results, he started third. He took the lead when those two crashed, and he led every lap, I think. So we take a look at the classification, and the Argentine wins ahead of Robert Stoltz on the podium. And then it's Vallee, Eckert, top 5. Weeks, Timms, Buffoli, Roy, top 10. And Zach Trevino in 11th. Remember Jacob Quill, Bobby Helms. They practiced but did not race here in Laguna Seca. As we'll wait a pinch for some interviews, see if anyone's around.
It's the blimp.
As we're doing things a little bit, oh, look at that. We got some interviews. Alrighty. Let's see.
Pulling in first.
We will have a chat with Josh Stoltz. Let me see. He's in here. I just want to make sure that we can hear him. Josh, it's Josh and Stephen. How are you?
Lap 3 with Victor.
Just
that was.
Want to make sure we can hear you.
Hello.
We can hear him now. Okay.
Okay.
So, like I've said, apologies. We are figuring out new systems here. So,
All good.
I guess this is all going to be lumped into one question, but it's like 3. Walk me through when they crashed in turn 1 in front of you. I'm guessing you locked up the rears into Victor. And
Yes.
then what was going on near the end there? Because it seemed like there was maybe tire conservation, fuel conservation. Next thing we know, you're battling for a podium. Floor is yours.
So yeah, turn 1. I watched that happen, and I saw the 15 or whatever number he is go out on the what is that, concrete or whatever it is out there, and I knew something bad was about to happen because you're not supposed to go out there. I'm not sure what happened with Will. I think he just locked up or in reaction to what the leader was doing. I tried to get the power down and get it to turn, maybe sneak by with the lead, and it just didn't go at all with cold tires. So, and then ran it wide coming up the hill. But, and then what was it? Lap 3. Yeah, lap 3. I straight up just locked up going up the hill. I tried to tell Victor like, hey, I'm spinning in front of you, and I called it too late. So he says like he probably could have avoided it, but I'm still gonna take the blame for that because it was my dumbass that sent it too deep and locked up the rears and spun like a damn top in front of him. But then good.
I was going to tell you that as like your satellite kind of team co-owner, what are you doing crashing into your teammate? That's the number one rule.
I mean, we crashed into each other, so blame both of us, I guess.
That's fair. Alrighty, my friend.
But,
anyone you'd like to thank for the third place result?
Definitely you, Victor, for sure. Great battle with Victor. I always love racing against him. Definitely gonna watch it back because it's that I'm guessing that looked good from the booth. Also want to thank Penguin RC for obviously the beautiful car. Same with Jonathan Oates at 73 Creative who made this, and what is it? Ethan that runs this.
Ethan Halsey is the head honcho for all this. Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you, Ethan, for putting this up and putting it back to open setup. Thank you.
All right, my friend. Good run, and we'll see you next week in Long Beach.
Thank you. See you there.
We have our second place man, Will Roberts. It's Josh and Stephen in the booth. You got us?
Yeah, I got y'all. How y'all doing tonight?
Doing well, my friend. I like to lump like 3 questions in one and then give you the floor. So my first question is, what happened in turn 1? It looked like you may be locked up. Then walk me through your race trying to get back to that. And then near the end, it seemed like there was some tire conservation, some fuel strategy. And meanwhile, Matthias is just gone 42 seconds up the road. So the floor is yours.
Yep. So I think I definitely provided a little bit more entertainment than last week, not intentionally. Turn 1, simple as my line, all practice, all race, qualifying, everything. I was braking at the 300. He broke probably about like 425, and I just wasn't expecting it. So as soon as I saw how close I was closing on him, like I couldn't dive. All I could do at that point was just slam the brakes and hope I didn't hit him. As for the rest of the race, I got back up to second. I tried various things. I mean, once you're in the car, you can only do so much, but I was just trying whatever I could to try and cut into Matthias's time. And coming out of the pits, I was not expecting it at all because every time I was on cold tires, it was so understeery. And I go into turn 2 trying to keep the 99 behind me, and the rear end just snaps. I hadn't done that all at any point, so that was kind of that done. And other than that, it was just seeing if I could make up anything. Probably not, and getting to the end.
I do have good news. That Victor, while you, it sounds blunt and sounds like I'm blaming you, but I'm not, I promise. While you caused the chaos in turn 1, right? And you would think, oh crap, I'm in last. My race is over. This sucks. Victor and Josh had some shenanigans in the corkscrew. And while I talked earlier about it's round 2, why are we talking about points? Every point matters. My point is, no pun intended, after that being last on lap 1, you come home in second ahead of Victor, and you gain some points. So I'd say it might not be a win, but it's a good run for you.
Definitely, I'm with how it started. I mean, I knew I had pretty solid pace. I think I might have tweaked something with suspension, and even the fast repair didn't fix it because I didn't feel like I was quite there on pace the whole night, like the whole race. But no, definitely, like I said last week, this is kind of my retirement tour. So happy to come out of it still gaining a little bit in the points, and hoping to round out this season with a championship.
All right, my friend. Good run. Anyone you'd like to thank for the podium tonight?
I want to thank y'all for putting on this great show, Ethan and the crew for putting on this great league, and I want to thank my wife, Britt, for letting me do this on Tuesday nights.
Absolutely, my friend. As like I said, good run. We'll see you next week in Long Beach.
Absolutely. Thank y'all.
There you go.
Week, what will happen? Let's take a look at some programming notes before we get some final thoughts and say good evening. Next round of the TORQ Sports Car Series at Fuji. That is Thursday the 13th, 8:40 p.m. Eastern Time. You'll have Brian Sawyer, myself, Josh Mertz for that one. We had 57 cars battling for 48 spots. Capacity grid. Excited to see if the field is going to increase there. And there might be a format change if they continue to pull nearly 60 cars for a go or go home shootout, but we'll let them make those announcements. TORQ Endurance Series Round 1 at Daytona. That is Saturday the 15th, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. That's going to be a 3-hour Josh and Brian podcast. Be sure to tune in and join us for that. Going to be super fun. Planning on trying to have some more audience engagement with that. Keep us entertained with some interviews, all those kinds of things. And our next round for the TORQ IndyCar Series at Long Beach. That's the 18th, next Tuesday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And the NASA Rallycross Challenge will return at the end of February and in March. You can take a look there with the 4 splits featured there. If you'd like to join TORQ, there's the QR code on the graphic, nasasimracing.com for that. If you'd like your content broadcasted, asntvusa.com. It's just a reminder, cameras all season, no matter the series on ASN, brought to you by Whiplash SimCams. Be sure to check them out at facebook.com/WSimCams. And thank you, Andrew Cardinale IV, for your camera support. And if you like what you saw tonight, be sure to like and subscribe to the Automotive Sports Network on Blue Sky, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, and YouTube, and ring the bell to be notified of our live streams weekly, along with our short form video content. Stephen Moreau, give me a final thought and we'll button this one up.
It's been a great race. Like I said, that slow burn at the end was really unexpected, and honestly, for Will Roberts, that was a great surprise to come in second for him. I bet, like he said, it's his retirement tour, so even getting top in those top positions to be able to maybe round out his last season with a championship win is pretty big for him. I'm excited to see the performance from everybody else, and Long Beach. It should be a really great race to watch.
As I want to mention, like I said to him in his interview, it's crazy that turn 1, oh crap, I'm in last. Then suddenly Vallee and Stoltz crash, and then you find yourself on the podium after crashing in turn 1. Irrelevant to the GT3 series and everything else, they do have the GT4 challenge. It's a completely open to join league. No broadcast yet. I wonder if we can get a crew together. I'll say that. I wonder if we can get a crew together, because that was super fun to race on Thursdays. If you'd like to join, like I said, QR code is in the graphic throughout the show. TORQ growing at an immense rate. ASN as well, NASA as well, all three partnering together. But this series, a little bit of a slow burn, like you said, like I said, but it really ramped up at the end with the tire strategy, with the fuel strategy, and excited to see what will happen in Long Beach. As for Laguna Seca, the checkered flag has fallen on the evening. On behalf of our entire production staff and producer, Stephen Moreau, my name is Josh Mertz, as we thank you for joining us for tonight's coverage of the TORQ IndyCar Series. Congratulations to our winner, Matthias Ezekiel Macromini. And just a reminder, don't miss round 2 of TORQ Sports Cars in Fuji. But until then, so long, everyone.